So when I started working on this wagon a few months ago, I knew I had my work cut out for me. I knew there was a lot of rust in the floors, and I knew I had to do something about it before I put it back together. So in my last video, you saw where I removed what was remaining of the main floor section in hopes to get the new floor section in soon. Well, come to find out, the rear pan wasn't in very good shape, and I needed to do some work to it before I put the main floor in. So that's where I'll continue on today, working on that rear upper section of the floor pan. So now that I got the rest of that center floor section cut out, it's time to concentrate on this panel here. Now this is the panel that's actually behind the rear seat, where the cargo area is. And as you can see, we do have some rust. We got quite a bit of repair we're going to have to do. Now, they do not make this panel aftermarket. You can't get it. They don't reproduce it. So you got to fix it. Or you can cut one out of a donor car. I do not have access to a donor car. But usually, if you do find one in a donor car, they're probably going to be just about as bad as this. As you can see, I've got some little patches and stuff cut out already. And I've already been working over here in the fender well. So what I want to try to do is get this fender well straightened out first, and I had to cut me a window in the inner wheel well, and I'm going to have to repair this lip. So I've got this angle piece I've made on the brake that I've got, and I'm going to cut this, measure and cut it, and put it in these sections here and weld it all in, and then I'm going to close my window back up, weld it up solid, tack it back where it needs to be, and then I'll proceed on to the other side. But I wanted to get these wheel wells squared away first, and then I'm going to work on that center panel, and then work on back here, add a patch in there, and just do all that before I get the floor in. That way I have a little bit better access to all this and more room to work. Here's what we got done so far. We got several patches made and welded in. I'm gonna dress up them welds after I get done welding all this stuff in. I got a little spot over there I need to touch up. But as you can see, I replaced the lip. I'll show you the outside here in a minute. But I did replace this lip all the way back. And I had to cut a window here so I could get to my body mount. Now, there's a cage nut in there. Had to take that out and get that bolt loosened up and put it back in, so I spot welded it back in. So over here on the driver's side, we got some patch panels we're going to have to make. We're going to have to address the same issues that we did over there on the passenger side. We're probably going to have to replace this lip. We're going to have to put patches in these areas here, and we're going to have to take the cage nut out. And as you can see, I cut a window so I could get to the cage nut down in there. And I can try to free this up and get that bolt out of there and reuse it and just spot weld it back down in there. But these reinforcement pieces here, they're going to need a little bit of work. They're a little ate up. And I'll show you underneath here. And you can see this brace needs a little bit of work too. So that's going to be the few things that I tackle next after I get done patching this area over here. And go ahead and jump on this side. Now here's the lip that I replaced on that panel. And as you can see, I need to dress up the weld a little bit. And I'm going to treat this. And I need to get the rest of the old panel off of the inner fender well. We're going to treat that, drill some holes so we can spot weld this back like so. And we're just going to come back and weld this back across the top. I'm going to have to make a piece here, make a patch for this right here. This is a lot of time consuming work. Making all these little patches, making this little lip area, cutting all it out, measuring. It's really time consuming. I've spent several hours. This is probably like day 3 of me out here working on this thing, cutting and grinding and welding. So here we have the brace. Now this is the brace that's actually on that panel that we've been working on with all the rust issues. And of course this brace had some issues within itself. So I decided it would be easier just to go ahead and take this thing out and fix it this way. So as you can see, we have our brace here. This is actually for our body mount, the cage nut. And the cage nut actually had the bolt broke off in it. I got a brand new cage nut coming that I ordered. And we're going to replace all this and basically just spot weld it in like so. But as you can see, this thing's got some rust issues, and I've got it marked. And I'm going to section all this stuff in, get these holes right. Now you cannot buy this as a replacement part because they do not make it. So there's no other choice. Like the panel going across the back, we have no choice but to repair it. So here's the brace. I got my patch cut out. It's all fitted up, ready to weld in. And as you can see, this is the old piece that we cut out. It was ate up pretty bad. So the next step after welding this brace together, we're going to need to build this piece here. Now this is the piece that holds the cage nut. And I ordered a brand new cage nut because the one that I had the bolt stuck in it. And you can see this reinforcement plate's ate up. We're going to rebuild this and get this ready to go in there. And we'll wait on the cage nut. When we get our cage nut, we're going to weld that in there. So here's the brace. It's all finished. As you can see, I got all my patches in. Had to do some patch work right in here. And a patch over here on this side. And you can see the reinforcement for the body mount. Now, when I get my body mount in, my cage nut will spot weld that in. And I'll come down here and drill some holes. Spot weld that piece in. And the spot welds in right here. Go ahead and get all this put together before we put it back in the car. And I believe I'm going to media blast this thing in the cabinet. And I'm going to definitely treat it on the inside. And maybe put some epoxy primer on it. This thing's just about ready to go in. Like I said, I'm waiting on that cage nut. And when I get that in, that's when I'll go ahead and install this back in the car. So I got the bracket all media blasted on the inside and treated. And I've got our bracket here. Got that treated on the inside. And this is going to spot weld in side like so. And we got a brand new cage nut. And this brand new cage nut, it'll go in here just like that, and it'll spot weld in, and then go on top of there. And then what I'll do is I'll come in from the bottom, drill 2 holes and spot weld it in that way, spot weld it in up at the top, and then this will be ready to go back in the car. And here's our finished brace. We got everything all welded in, get it all treated inside and out, and it's ready to go and get installed back into the car. So I've been pretty busy making these patch panels and getting them in, and I do have this one. I just haven't put it in yet. This is actually where our brace goes. Brace goes right underneath this, and I want to get all this right before I decide to put the brace in. And I'm gonna have to do some work over here. I already got this panel made. We're gonna add that in, and I got a few other little areas here that I need to work on right back here. But this panel's coming along pretty good. I do have to do some work up front here, but my little tiny patches that I've got in there, I've got that about squared away. I got to change out this lip right here. I already got it made. I just wanted to kind of weld some of this other stuff in, and I'm going to work on this inner fender well and do some work there before we add that piece in. And that's where I'm at right now. This is very time consuming. A lot of time, you know, making these, making the patches, cutting them, shaping them right, and getting them welded in. So that's going to do it for today. And in the next video, I'll get that brace in and I'll finish up that floor pan section. But in the meantime, make sure you check out my other videos on this Bel Air wagon and check out all my other projects. And if you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button, click the bell so you'll get the notifications. And as always, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram.